Hi everyone, this is the intuitive readings for February. Pick a card, there's 4 piles to choose from, and I hope there's a message in there for you, just bringing you more clarity around anything you're struggling with, peace, deeper connection with your higher power. I think we all help each other bring through wisdom for each other, as well as tapping so deeply into our own unique wisdom, and it's such a privilege to be able to serve you in this way. I've gained so much from other readers in my own spiritual journey. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope just take what resonates with you, leave anything that doesn't. Your own wisdom is all that matters. I hope you have a wonderful February, and see you next month. Hello and welcome, Group 1. This is your reading for February, and let's get straight into it. We're starting with 3 cards for you guys. Let's see what we've got to support your peace, your growth, your health, your well-being, bringing through your deepest gifts and talents and best life. Okay, we have got, so we've got the War of the Roses reversed. We've got a Major Arcana card, the Light of the World, and another Major Arcana card, the Muse. Okay, Group 1. So, as always, I just start with what the cards usually mean in their sort of most basic format, and then whilst I'm doing that, the messages for you specifically then come through. So, the War of the Roses. Reversed. If I just reverse this card for you for a moment, we've got the classic warring head and heart, which I'm sure everyone is very familiar with. Our head says one thing, our heart says another. And this card is all about letting spirit win through and bring those two opposing sides together. You might see this as masculine, feminine, trying to marry up intuition with what is also practical in the moment. The heart is sort of the very, very generous, wide open, always sees the good in everything. The head can be the skeptic, based in the past, and it's not about one winning over the other, it's about them joining together and letting spirit lead. So this is a really beautiful card for you guys for February, because when it's in the reverse, it means spirit is winning through. So I don't know what you guys have been up to in your spiritual journey of late, but there's been some kind of real battle, and if you're resonating with this reading, then you're really getting a sense of your spirit winning through, and it might be that you've never felt it quite so tangibly before. So this is a very, very beautiful confirmation that it's really happening, and also to acknowledge, you've stuck with it, you've stuck with the battle, and you've won through, and that's just a really beautiful start, a really powerful start to a reading, I have to say. It's going to be interesting to unravel this further. So the next one is the Light of the World. This is all about, kind of the duality. We've got this guy stood in his house, the fire's roaring away. We could see that as a sign of the human spirit, his fire, his zest, his personality, how he presents to the world. He's looking down his cat. The animal is often a symbol of intuition. And then he's kind of busy, distracted. Whatever he's up to, you can't see what he's doing, but it looks like he's busy with his hands, making something, sculpting something. And he's just looking over his shoulder at this beautiful cat down here. Just going, intuition, I hear you. I've just got to finish with what I'm doing first, but I'm paying attention, I am. And then we have this spiritual figure knocking on the door. This is a Major Arcana card of spirit is always knocking. Spirit is right there for you. You're probably feeling it very, very close at this time, and you're just a bit busy. Again, it's the marriage of, our earth world and our spiritual life, and constantly trying to bring those two into harmony with each other. It's a relationship between the two, back and forth. And this card is very much about, you know what, Spirit is always there, and Spirit really understands that, you know, you have worldly, earthly things to do, and they are in support of you. So it's kind of all about timing, this card. I don't want to unravel too much until I've done the overview, but it's very much about where are we needed in any one moment, going with the flow of, is this moment, do I need to take care of more earthly things? Do I need to take care of more spiritual things? And of course, those two increasingly then merge until you're almost aware of both all the time within each other. So, and it's interesting, that's the middle card. This is such a major theme for you at the moment. I just love the idea of marriage in both these first two cards. That's stunning. Your third card is the Muse. This is another major arcana. So just think of just everything the Muse conjures up for you, just whether it's a person or an art form or it could be numbers or just whatever really, really inspires you. And I mean the absolute heights of ethereal inspiration. I'm not just talking, you know, a bit of excitement kind of day to day. This is a major theme of what absolutely blows you away, blows your mind, and feels absolutely the most beautiful thing you can imagine, that inspires all of that beauty within you. This is very much a mirror card. That's how I always see it. It's really saying, you know what, that absolutely stunning, beautiful, even if you're not sure what it looks like, you've just got that feeling of divine inspiration. It's a mirror to what you are. You are that divine inspiration. And being able to see yourself through those eyes. So imagine someone else looking at you as if you are the most divinely inspiring being they have ever, ever, ever been privileged enough to be in the presence of. That is the Muse card. You have all these wonderful spirals of petals everywhere, endless creations, endless beauty, endless, I was going to say ideas, but they're more than that, you know, real kind of thought forms that want to become images, that want to become, they want to come into the earth. So again, we've got this massive theme of spirit desperately wanting to come through into the physical. And it starts with the Muse. So group 1, your February, well, I mean, it's already just, oh gosh, you have just got an absolutely stunning month. I'm a bit blown away. It's just absolutely coming. It's like spring arriving all at once in one day. Do you know those days where suddenly you realise that it truly is spring and you feel it in every single cell of your body? This is going to be your month. So even if that's not reflected in the weather yet, this is what's going on inside you. I wonder if January has been particularly dark, you know, like the darkness before the dawn kind of feeling. There has been this battle going on, you know, we don't have a battlefield in your reading for no reason. You've been really grappling with something. And the cards want to come through today. This is very much past, present and future, so as well as other layers, but we'll get into that. So the present layer, you really have come through this battle. You're tending to whatever you've needed to sort out in the world, in the 3D, and you're aware of your intuition, and you've managed to order it out of chaos. You've managed to get some order back through surrendering to, I'm back in touch with spirit. I wonder what that's been for you. It feels quite important for me to investigate that in a moment. So spirit is right there, and leading on to the future, massive inspiration, and I think you can feel it coming. All right, spirit, can we just unravel what this battle has been? I'm just sensing something quite tricky. Let me just rejig, get a bit more comfortable. So I'm going to pull another card for you guys. Oh gosh, okay. Alright, if that one's come out, let's have some clarifiers, please. Yes, I'm gonna. Oh, okay. All right. We've got 3. Okay. So the questionnaires. I'm not sure I've even got hold of the question yet properly. Spirit, what is it for group 1 that's been this battle? I know you've kind of already been through it, and I think you know what it is, and it feels like there's just a bit more clarity that wants to come through around it, so you can truly move forward with all this incredible inspiration that's coming in and about to come in. Spirit, what's this battle been about? We've got the battle of heart over head. It's interesting that suddenly it's slowed down so much. That initial enthusiasm in the reading and that inspiration that's, as I said, here or about to come in, just came rushing in. I'm just seeing like a galloping knight just rushing in with all of that message. And as we then zoom in and pick out what this battle has been, suddenly it feels very, very slow, very tender. I think it's something very subtle about it. I don't think this has been like a major life-changing event for you. It's been a very, very deep, unseen shift going on, which is no less life-changing. Okay, we have the card of initiation, Saint Germain. I get the feeling that what you've just been through has been a huge initiation. What has this battle been about? I'm just going to let my awareness drop even a little bit deeper, because this is on a very subtle layer. I'm hearing the expression, can I really be loved there? Can I really be loved there? So that means, and if you're resonating with this, you'll know that place inside of you that I'm talking about. It might be a place that's always felt abandoned or always felt very difficult. It might be a more tangible, something you feel you've done in the past. Maybe there's been some shame. And it's, can I really be loved there? It's a very, very exposed, tender, raw energy. I have a feeling there's something around being spiritually stripped back. And if you've been through that this time, maybe multiple times, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And there's this beautiful image in this card of the 4 initiates before Saint Germain, and they are just looking up at him, and they are just wide open. They are just, when your soul is so exposed. And I think this is what has been going on for you. The next card is the waterfall. The waterfall is all about incredible emotional depths and strength. If you imagine the power of the water in this massive waterfall, that is the strength of emotion that you have had to have. And that's very, very clear. That's not always the particular message of this card, but for you guys, it really wants to come through that this is how emotionally strong you've had to be to go through this complete stripping back. It's saying that your foundations, you may feel completely rocked and annihilated by this, or did very recently. But actually your foundations really were strong enough to then go through it. It's that sense of when you go through kind of a spiritual upgrade or awakening, deconstruction, illusions dropping away, breaking through the veil, whatever wordage you want to use, you don't feel like you're stable at all. And that's the point, that your awareness, it's just completely deconstructed to be made anew. However, it does mean that your foundation has been strong enough to go through this. So I'm really being drawn to the pillars. I'm being drawn to this really straight, powerful waterfall. I'm being just like a really straight, strong spine. All this imagery coming through that you've truly been so emotionally strong and ready for this. So I think there's Spirit wants me to just convey to you very gently and with an awful lot of nurturing father-mother energy that you've done so well, and you really are okay, and you are strong enough, and every single moment you have felt completely beside yourself, completely stripped bare, you were ready, and you're being protected, and you are protected. And whenever Saint Germain comes through in a reading, it's a massively powerful signal that whichever spirit guide resonates for you particularly. This Saint Germain is how I tap into this initiation energy. It might be a different guide for you, so just wherever the most comfort and solace and protection feels great to you, then that's what wants to come through really powerfully. Just to say yet again, you've been protected all the way through, and that you are just in an incredibly beautiful place. Again, it might not feel like it yet for some of you. You might still be in the throes of it. You might just be coming out. But to Spirit, you just look stunningly beautiful right now because your soul is just shining. Oh, I'm getting tingles. So we also have the chess game reversed. So, this card pretty much says it all. You've got downed characters. You've got this war imagery again. You've got the checkerboard, you've got strategy, you've got, sort of fighting for your life, trying to win the game in the reverse. So let me explain the upright first of all a bit more. The upright is, I think of it as the more worldly level. That word worldly wants to come through a lot today. Very much about, maybe you've had to be very strategic in a relationship or in work or in family or even with yourself. But in the reverse, it's a much more definite kind of hammer blow of there is a situation you need to get away from. There's just too much adversity there. It's not conducive to your soul. You need to move away, or indeed you have just moved away. Now, I think the way these cards are lining up, I think you have just moved away or you're in the process. And for some of you, I'm picking up that you thought you'd completely moved away, and there's a bit more of an unravelling, like a next layer of moving away now going on. That might be regarding toxic family, toxic relationships. It might be some kind of toxicity in your environment. For some of you that might be quite subtle, but I think for a lot of you it's been a really profound, massive shift that has taken years to formulate for you to arrive at this point. So again, I'm feeling that Spirit just wants to say to you, this has been absolutely huge. Please don't underestimate it. Don't underestimate yourself. Really, really honour yourself as you come out of this. It's there's kind of two feelings I'm getting from Spirit. One is the just, wrap yourself up like a tiny little child for a while and just be so soothing to yourself because you really have gone through a battle. It might feel very subtle, but, just I'm hearing, trust us, your soul has been through a battle. And on the other hand, they want to just say, they're kind of having to hold back their excitement because they're so excited for you. They're so proud of you. They're so overjoyed with what this transition means. Even though you might not be there yet, they're kind of just, they're holding back their joy and celebration, this massive celebration of you, whilst you're still in this raw state. So I'm laughing because it's just quite funny and it's very sweet. They really have a party waiting for you on the other side, and they're kind of already there because they can see it all, whilst also making sure that they are very tender and slow and gorgeously sort of mothering and fathering towards you, encouraging you to be that towards yourself. So group one, that's that's your February. That just all absolutely flowed at a pace, it feels like. I hope all that made sense. Is there anything to wrap that up with, please, Spirit? Any other messages? I think just avoid the temptation to go back into the battle. You really can trust where you're. I think you've already had the big intuitive hit as to where you're going next, as to where sort of dry land is, where the safer environment is for you, the safer relationship, that that's being on your own and being with yourself, the one relationship. They're just saying, don't be tempted to be pulled back into it. Just really, really trust yourself. I think you've got that solidity already going, if that makes sense. You're already solid with that, but it's just easy to feel a little bit unsure still. So just don't go back into the battle. Trust that Spirit really has got you. It might feel very daunting and very unknown where you're going to next. But again, I think you've got a handle on it. I think in that way that you've had to be so surrendered, there's nothing else to do than to continue to be surrendered. And I just, the Muse card on the other side, it's all going to be unravelling for you. It's not going to be a sudden kind of rescue. It's going to be, how can I describe it? Just slow and beautiful, and all the tiny little details just slowly emerging piece by piece by piece. So be patient with it. Be so patient with yourself. Have all your self-nurture and care in place. Know that everything is going to happen in right time. Keep opening up to Spirit every day. However you do that, through meditation, or some people do it through music and song, and however you open up to Spirit, just really sit down each day and say, okay, what is the next step? Is there anything I need to do today? And some days there just won't be anything to do. And just be patient, because it really is coming. It really is coming. Okay, my group one, thank you so much for spending some time with me. I so hope that was helpful. It really, it's so dear to my heart to be in service to you and be able to do this for you. So I really hope it was helpful. Any feedback's really appreciated. So I know that, this is coming through well for you. Have a wonderful February, and we'll see you in March. Hello, Group 2. How are you, lovelies? So this is your intuitive reading for February 2020, and let's just get straight into it. 3 cards to begin with. We've got the Garden, we've got the Queen of Scrolls, and we've got the Sands of Time. Immediately what wants to come through is there's a lot of greenery. There's something about Earth Goddess, Green Man, very much back to nature, very, very spring-like reading. We've got a silver birch forest, we've got a beautiful garden full of flowers, we've got a stunning view in this sort of, it's almost like a tower with, almost looks like a round tower with these stunning huge windows looking out onto the most gorgeous countryside. Again, so much green. So I just wanted to start with that. Maybe there's some medicine for you in the colour green, certainly going out in nature. It might not seem too green at the moment if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, but you'll still get it. Just anything green, earthy. Yeah, okay, let's dive straight in. So your first one is the Garden. This is a really beautiful card. This makes me think of Eden. It makes me think of, you've got 2 children here. It makes me think of inner child. It might be children actually in your life, whether they're yours or someone else's, or you work with children. There's a real attention to beauty. There's this little girl, she's got her magnifying glass, and I wonder if you've had a bit of an opening, an awakening to really seeing the finer details in life. For some reason I'm being really drawn to this little girl and this magnifying glass. What is being magnified in your life? And it might be that it's not something very pretty, and it's all being laid out in front of you. And it's your curiosity, and I want to say your innocence. So I think childlike innocence for a moment, You know, we all have that part of us, very beautiful part inside of us, completely innocent, completely curious. And I'm just getting the sense that, this is interesting, you've walked into something just wide open and very, very curious and with your magnifying glass, and maybe it's been a bit shocking. Maybe it's not been what you thought at all. That's a very specific message from this card. Otherwise, this card, it's also about sort of relationship. It's about how you play. Are you getting enough playtime? That's very interesting. I'm going to continue because I think the other cards are going to clarify and open up those messages in there. The next card, the Queen of Scrolls. The Queen of Scrolls, it might be a very powerful woman figure in your life. Anything to do with writing, publishing, the written word, stories, just any of that kind of creative, very much about the mind. She's super intellectual. This might represent you, and don't get hung up on gender. It just happens to be a kind of the feminine intellect. If that means anything to you, it will. If it doesn't need to. And yeah, this is either representing you, male or female, or it's a very powerful intellectual woman in your life. She has this beautiful glowing star with her third eye, incredibly insightful. The sort of woman who she kind of see all the cosmos. So something like astrology, she would go very, very deeply into astrology and have all the pieces laid out. Again, there's something about having all the pieces laid out in front of you. I think this is representing you, and you are diving into some area of research, of learning, of understanding something more, really grappling with something. And this card is it's such a stunning energy, this card, because there's also this kind of, even though this is a queen, it's not a major arcana. For me, it's really bringing through a much higher kind of goddess-type intellect. And she is in your reading to say that she is supporting you. And I'm seeing just a lot of peace and love surrounding you as you inquire about things which are quite tricky, potentially. That's interesting. Okay, again, we'll flesh that out in a moment. And the next one is, really interestingly, the Sands of Time. Now this guy, he's rolling up his sleeves, he's been super hard at work. Again, it's a scrolls card, so again, this is about the mind, the intellect, understanding, beliefs, research, history, whatever applies to you. He's been very busy, he's got all these different scrolls, he's got one out on the table with his pen ready, and he's looking at this sand clock, and normally this card means he's kind of having a little break, and he's back to it very soon. Kind of break time's up, and he's back to it. And it's the idea of the sun is setting, so he hasn't got that much more of the day to continue his work. And so it's a sense of kind of time pressure in this card. When it's in the reverse, wonderfully, it means all the time in the world. But not in your reading, it means there's some kind of time pressure. Okay, Spirit, let's unravel this a bit deeper. What's coming through for these guys? It does feel a bit uncomfortable, I have to say. It's is this in your career? Have you got a big project going on? Are you investigating lots of new things, bringing lots of threads together? There's a sense of it just hasn't quite come together yet. Maybe it's gone off in lots of different directions, and you're just not sure how to piece it together. And you're just feeling a bit time pressured. I'm just wondering, we've just got the cat in your reading, which is interesting. Hi, Coco. She's wondering what on earth the candles are doing, and she's meowing at me, just to say hello. Time pressure. I'm just wondering why we've had Coco just step into a reading right then. That's interesting. Are you feeling interrupted? Distracted? Group 2, this is interesting. It doesn't feel like a major theme in your life. this feels like, again, just like the message itself, where you've got the magnifying glass out, this feels like one area of your life, but it's feeling quite consuming at the moment. So Spirit, what can we... Okay, first of all, let's have a clarifier for what is this thing that they're struggling with? Yeah, again, so we've got the bird's nest. I think this is going to take a little while for your message to come into clarity, group 2, so bear with me. It's just how it is. I think it's probably how you're feeling too. We've got the bird's nest. Now, normally this means beautiful expansion. It's all about the home, expanding family. It might even be about having another child. It's definitely a theme around children. I'm wondering if several of you are teachers, or maybe even you're planning to have more family, and that's what you're doing on research around. So this card is all about expansion. It could also be business. It could be expanding. It's all about your force in the world. You're literally taking up more space. However, for you guys, it's in the reverse, which is the opposite. It's contracting. It's taking up less space. You might have had a business move somewhere smaller. You might have you've downsized in some way. And whilst, you guys know this, but whilst downsizing can seem negative at the time, it's usually a massive, I was going to say expansion, obviously it's not an expansion, but it's a massive step towards the next expansion, if you see what I mean. You know, life, all of nature expands and contracts all the time. You know, think about how we even come into the world. It's about contractions and expansions of the womb. And it's how it is the flow. It's the frequency. You know, frequency is about expansion and contraction. It's the fundamental kind of system, if you like, for our universe. So it's so natural to contract, and the more we can happily go with the contractions and go with the expansions, that's when we no longer get stuck in suffering, which is quite different to, you know, going through difficulty and even experiencing pain. Suffering is that resistance to these times of contraction. So, oh my goodness, I feel like I'm waffling, so I hope that was relevant to someone. So all I'm trying to say, let's get to it, is this is another sort of contraction card, and it could also be, again, honing down into the details. Really, I just want to keep saying it, getting the magnifying glass out. So, Spirit, how does this clarify for me what's going on for you guys? I'm wondering if some of you have had a loss. I'll be honest, some kind of loss, and that has made you really slow down and pay attention to everything. It's made you appreciate everything so much more. Yeah, there's definitely a theme of that for some of you. What is this thing, Spirit, that is just, it's quite consuming? It's kind of like a bit of a frantic energy of, again, that time pressure and having to put everything apart. I'm wondering if some of you are having to read back through contracts because maybe something was missed. There's definitely something about whatever this current challenge is, you're being shown how to slow down your awareness to an even kind of deeper level, and that might be through something very tangible, like a contract where maybe you missed something because you didn't read it, and you know, I'm with you there. You might not have read it all through to begin with. There's something you didn't pay attention to, and now you're really having to pay attention to it. So, okay, yeah, this is one of the messages from Spirit that's coming through really strongly now that we've got that piece. Do not beat yourself up. Absolutely do not beat yourself up for whatever it is you've missed. This definitely feels, there's something about time where you feel like you're rushing to make up for lost time because you missed something the first time around. I really hope that makes sense. And this could be to do with anything. It could even be, you know, if it's relationship, it could be that you said something and you didn't realise what you'd said, or you didn't say something and you didn't realise you hadn't said it, and actually it's turned out that whichever way around that is, it's really important, and it's now obvious to you how important it is by the consequences, and you're having to go back through with a fine-tooth comb and go, why did that happen? Why did I miss that? And there's something about you need to do it in time before the next piece, or you need to do it. You kind of need to prepare yourself. I'm seeing for some of you, honestly, you need to do it in time before somebody walks out your life, and it's not the right thing for you for them to walk out of your life. So I really feel for you guys, because that is a really tricky one. We've messed up, right? We've messed up, and we've got to clean it up. But we need to do the work properly this time of cleaning it up and understanding it all, so we can then go back to that person or that situation and say, look, I've now done my homework, I've done my amends, if you like. I've cleaned up that project at work, and now here it is. But there is a time frame. Okay. Oh, and you were not expecting any of this. I think this has all really come out of the blue. It's been that sudden shock of, oh God, I've missed this, or this has happened, and this is what I've got to do. So I don't think it was what you were expecting in February. I hope this message doesn't sound too negative, because I think Spirit is just, it's saying, look, we know what situation you're in. It is difficult, it's tricky, but please understand the deeper message that this is going to do so much for your awareness going forward. If you can genuinely kind of do the work this time and fix it, basically, just using your ability to become more aware, become more conscious, really go through things with a fine tooth comb. If you really commit to that, then you're going to gain so much from this experience, because going into any other similar experience at all, you're going to already be at that new level of awareness and insight and ability, just naturally, to go through things in finer detail. And it's just going to be, your life is going to be so much richer because of that, and just flowing, and you're actually going to enjoy things more, because you're going to be a bit more slowed down and a bit more aware. So the two messages are, Spirit is saying, do not beat yourself up. Don't fall for the, scrubbing around in a haste. If you're really feeling the pressure, this is the time to just slow down. Just slow down even more than you think you need to. Meditate for longer. Spirit is right there with you. You've got this Queen of Scrolls. She is right there with you to go through all the little details. So get back to your calm first. Get back to trusting that this experience is working for you. However you do that, get grounded. Know it's going to all be okay. And then you can harness that energy kind of impatience and pressure, and actually put it into just step by step by step what you need to do, and you'll be amazed at the miracle of the timing that has it. It will just be perfect. Similarly, that pressure can send some of you into, and I totally get this as well, some of you into sort of backing off, not wanting to deal with it, not wanting to face it. That's usually to do with shame. So just be really gentle with yourself. Just acknowledge any shame. If you need to do any emotional work around that first, remember that I'm getting a big sense there are practical steps to be taken, but the first step is always to get your emotions on board. Okay? Your emotions and your spirit on board. And then all the practical things will just flow. I'm not saying they're going to be easy. You've still got to really, do them and face them. But they're going to be so much easier if you get your emotions on board first. So there's no shame. There's just no shame. Just drop it. Just, kick it away. However bad you think you've been, Spirit loves you, and we are all here to make mistakes And I'm hearing that even if you feel you've really, really deeply hurt someone, it's interesting this is coming through because I've just had this experience of one of my relationships where I was in the blessed position to just completely forgive someone, because to me it didn't feel like they'd done anything wrong in the slightest. And I think you'll be surprised. You may well have the same reaction. And even if you don't, we are here to make mistakes. And sometimes we hurt people. And I think when we're really emotionally healthy, we can take that hit quite easily. And it's like, I'm so sorry, and yeah, I hurt you. When we're not so emotionally strong, which I feel very much goes back to, childhood and how we were taught to handle our own emotions, it can tap into a deeper shame. If that deeper shame is being tapped into for you, then that is nothing to do with this situation. It's just being triggered. It is just a trigger. This is a shame flashback, if you like, and that's a separate thing to deal with. And I'd highly suggest dealing with that first, and it will just clear the way. Right, group 2. I so hope that was helpful. I'm going to get one more card for you. Spirit, is there anything else I need to see in these cards first of all? No, I think that's everything. It really is. Just, yeah, get your emotions and spirit on board. Slow right down. Don't avoid it. Clear out any shame. It's fine to make mistakes, and you're going to be amazing at just taking care of all the details now and becoming more aware. And this is a profound lesson, and you're going to go forward so much stronger. Okay. Can we just have one more card, please, Spirit? Whatever you want to give, whether it's about the outcome or more on this. Okay. So your last card. Oh, hang on. We've got one more that wants to come through. I knew it. Okay. To wrap this up, we have got the waterfall. The waterfall, funnily enough, after all we've just been saying, is about immense emotional strength. Hugely powerful emotional strength. I think, and it's in the reverse, so yeah, it's clarifying that I think this is a particularly an emotional lesson for you. How to deal with the pressure, which doesn't mean get good at pressure. It means realising where the pressure is really coming from and dissolving it. That's how I see it anyway. Emotional strength with, have you been triggered into old feelings? Is that old stuff that's come up that needs dealing with? So the reading is getting a bit deeper now. This really is a lesson in your emotional strength. And when this card is then righted, once you've been through this process, you are going to have an emotional strength. You'll just be amazed how much. There'll just be instances in the future where you're just not triggered into that old emotional stuff, and you'll just be amazed. You will just be amazed. And then the final card, which is so beautiful, is the Ascent, the mountain. This is a tough card, but also massively optimistic. You're on the right mountain. You're climbing the right way. We know it's sweaty and tough, and you've bruised your knuckles, but you're going to be standing on the mountaintop. You will have done it. You would have fixed whatever you need to fix, and you're going to be in the sunshine, and you think, oh my God, I've done it. And there is going to be a pause, a reprieve after this, just a moment of, allowing yourself to just go, I made a mistake, but I've turned it around. I've turned it around. That is gorgeous. We've got a beautiful 6 and 7. Actually, even nicer than that, we've got 5. We've got a 3 down here with the contraction. You've got 5, 6, 6, 7. So these numbers are even just saying, you're on your way. You're doing this. Well done. Group 2, I hope it was a very specific message. I really hope it was helpful. I'm right there with you. Okay, guys, just good luck. You're going to be amazing. But yes, you're going to have to go through this. And it's not going to be as painful as you think, honestly. Just do each step in turn, and it's not going to be nearly as painful as you think. Let me know how you get on, and hope to see you in March. Group 3, welcome. This is your reading for February. So starting off with 3 cards for you. And let's see what Spirit has got for us with any guidance, any help, any clarity, anything to bring you into deeper harmony with your higher self, with the flow of life, with your peace and your joy. Okay, well, straight off, it just feels like a very bright, sunny reading. This is interesting. We start off with the Master Artisan. Now this card, it's all about being the apprentice, learning your craft. I always see this as a very industrious but also peaceful card. You're really paying attention to details, but in a kind of soft, focused way. You don't feel over-focused, you don't feel overworked, you're not in any kind of perfectionism or mental block. You're just so happily learning and soaking up new skills and just peacefully just getting better at what you're doing. There's a very step-by-step process, and as with any craft, there's ups and downs with it, but you just feel in a really good space with it. Whatever this is, whatever this means to you, this kind of craft that you're developing. Now, it could be in terms of relationship, it could be in terms of emotional health. It doesn't have to be something practical, but on the other hand, it could be literally you've taken up a new kind of skill, a new hobby, something that you want to get skilled up in for maybe a change of career. It might be purely for your creative well-being. There is something about having masterful tuition and just happy little bee, happy little worker bee. I love that card so much. Your next card is, I will go into these deeper in a moment. Your next card is the King of Roses. Another card I absolutely love. It does what it says on the tin. Just imagine the most emotionally grounded, expressive, intuitive authority. Just imagine the person you would want to be king of the universe, because they are just so emotionally in tune. They are so deeply reassuring. Everything about them is reassuring. This is the energy of the King of Roses. He is completely balanced with feminine, masculine. He's just on it. He's just sorted. This kind of, I say charismatic leaders, but not even charismatic, because that always reminds me of someone who's sort of trying to hook people and, trying to be something. Whereas this type of leader, it's just natural. It just comes effortlessly, and he's the kind of guy that would bring guidance to people, and you just think, wow, that's just so perfect. How did he come up with that? So he gets a big following, and he is just adored. He is the adored king. So what could this be in your life? The kings and queens tend to mean a person in your life, or they could certainly represent an aspect of you as well. Now, with this particular deck, I also feel there is very much a divine element to these king and queen cards. This is a king that is divinely guided with his love and appreciation and his leadership. So definitely the direction we would want our governments to be going in, and our leadership roles to be filled by this kind of energy. Don't need to get hung up on the gender. It just happens to mean the sort of fatherly kind of role model and support. It might not literally be a man in your life, but it's just that fatherly energy is coming through somebody in your life, or is being evoked in you. So that's your second card. Your third card, and we have a queen. So it's always very poignant when we have both a king and a queen in a reading. We'll see what that is, what the message behind that is in a while. The Queen of Keys. So this, whereas the King of Roses is all about the emotional realm, the Scrolls is the intellectual realm, the Forces is more kind of the fiery realm. The Queen of Keys, this is more to do, I always just see just lots of doors being unlocked and deep wisdom. And just let me get the card for a moment, because I feel for you guys there's something in the actual, I don't often go back to the book, but just sometimes there is something really particular. So let me find the Queen of Keys, and I might even read to you what the keys represent. My readings are so intuitive, I feel I go very, very far away from the book, and sometimes my intuitive readings really, really want to come back. So there you go. So give me a moment whilst I dive through the book. Okay, we're nearly there. Nearly. Okay, here we are. So the suit of keys represent the values, wealth, success, worth, abundance, career, authority, confidence, achievement, and power. So I guess this is similar to Pentacles energy. It's very worldly. It's very the nitty-gritty of life, finance and it's kind of more about the personality, how you present to the world. And at the deeper level, the book also says opening to ownership, to opportunity, new direction, greater power and possibility. Study of the Bible reveals that key also means true knowledge, trustworthiness and authority. So true knowledge, trustworthiness and authority. You have a very powerful reading today, Group 3. Isaiah 22:22 tells us, and the key of the house of David will I lay upon his shoulder. To lay a key upon one's shoulder instead of in the hand reflects the responsibility that person can shoulder in life. After all, keys are given only to those with the authority to use them. Alright, so this is the Queen of Keys. Let's see what she specifically has to say. I think the keys are at the end. Here we go. The Queen of Keys, which you have in the upright position, a queen dressed in a gown of rich colours and textures, stands atop the tower of her great castle, happily looking over the rich, verdant hills of her domain. In the far distance, her husband returns from his travels. This card represents a woman of authority. She is sensitive, helpful, and thoughtful. She is confident in her authority, but always happy to celebrate the success of others. She could be a love interest for you or someone in your life. Besides referring to a positive woman of business, this card can represent you or another who is about to climb the ladder of success. Positions in banking, investment, real estate and management may be coming. Self-employment in any industry would also be at hand, as well as greater financial independence, increased authority or creative autonomy at work. This is beautiful. Now, what's interesting about this card is, as well, I feel like I'm going off on tangents. Bear with me, Group 3, this will all come together. Now, when in this particular deck, when this queen comes together with her king, so the King of Keys, it's a very particular representation of coming together with a very, very significant other in either business or as a love interest. So it's interesting here, she's not come out with her particular counterpart, but she has come out with another king. And I'm sensing there's a real theme around marrying together the emotional world with the business world. I'm wondering if, and the fact that you've had the master artisan, you're working away at your craft, I'm wondering if you're going in a whole new direction, Group 3, with a new work life, a new business. It might be your own creation, or just stepping into something that is so much more emotionally nourishing. I just sense a real balance going on, where your business life, your work life is going to be in support of your kind of emotional, I want to say richness, vividness and sovereignty. I hope this is making sense. There's something around, basically your work life is just going to be so much more soulful. That's what I'm trying to say. you're really going in the direction of your heart's desire. But by no means are you, launching off a cliff or, going out on a whim. The Queen of Keys is so, so grounded. She is the, incredible businesswoman, and it's almost as though you have all those skills. Don't get hung up on gender. If you think of the feminine side of the business, so she's the one that sort of keeps the fire going at home, whilst her masculine counterpart is out there doing the intrepid explorer stuff. Again, don't get hung up on these kind of different roles. We all have them, but in this particular reading, it's just saying that you've been particularly good at looking after business in the sense of looking at the really close to home aspects of it, and it being very nurturing to everyone around you. And I sense there is now a balance coming in, that it's also emotionally nourishing to you. I wonder if you've been a bit depleted. It's your business, I say business, whatever your work life is, okay? Or it could even be, some kind of vocation. It might not even be to do with your actual income. Whatever is speaking to you through this reading, I wonder if you've been a bit depleted. It's actually been a bit too much about the feminine and giving nurture and giving to other people, and you now have to balance that, because you're so good at that, and you're so good at the business aspects of it and having it all work and looking after everybody. But I think it's almost been a bit too much, and you need to come back to this idea, because the King of Roses, and you can see this, he's looking down in the roses. He's very, even though he's incredible with everyone around him, that is because he's so good at looking within, and everything is derived from his deepest soul and emotional needs and physical needs, and he is just so in touch with himself, which makes him so powerful. And I think this flavour is now coming in for you. You've realised that things are not quite balanced, they're not quite working for you, and it's going to change. I feel that this change it's not quite there yet. I think this sense of being the apprentice at this time sort of denotes that you're not quite there yet. There's something about crafting a new way of working, a new business, a new venture, but you really see it opening up to this idea of actually, if you take care of yourself even more, your business will be even more powerful, or your project will be even more powerful, or your ability to reach people will be even more powerful. It really is that dichotomy. We're so used to looking outward first, or certainly I think a lot of us are brought up that way, where we're looking outward first. We think we have to do things out in the world, but actually when you go back to shifting it all inside yourself, the rest is taken care of. And it takes a lot of trust, because we're not taught that way, we're not particularly encouraged that way, but that is actually how the world works. So group 3, it's such a beautiful reading. I can sense the kind of, I think you've almost already accepted and dealt with, I want to say, weariness of the way that you were living, and you've already set in motion this new, there's kind of a new hope, I'm just seeing these like spring bulbs just really, really gently coming up, and you haven't even realised that they've been growing for days and days and days already, and suddenly they burst into life. It feels like you're at the stage of, actually, this has been growing for a while and you've hardly even noticed. And it might feel like you're not very far along in this journey. Some of you might feel like you haven't even begun, but actually those seeds have been planted by your subconscious quite a while ago, I think. And they're further along than you think. It's so interesting that when we're doing the soul work, it can take a long time to come through to our outer reality, and it's so easy to get discouraged, just lose hope in it, just think it's not happening, and then you don't realise how much you've done until suddenly it bursts into your life and you're like, whoa. So I feel that you're in that stage of maybe just needing a bit of encouragement that this is going the right way. And when you're an apprentice, things are sticky at times. Things, you feel like something's not working, or you haven't learned this bit, or you need to skill up in that bit. So another message that is coming through, and it was interesting, another group this month, for a very different reason, had a very clear message, which is step by step by step. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, it's winter time, so it really is a time to really back off and just see the tiny, tiny details and the tiny steps to do and to take. And Spirit wants to encourage you by saying, don't worry about how much you think you don't know. Don't worry about how much you think you can't do yet. You have done so much work on the soul level without even realising it, perhaps. You're much further ahead than you think. Everything is going to come to you piece by piece and in time. And because you've got this well of the soul work that you have done, so, you've already, I really feel like you've already been very successful with projects and business and supporting other people. Even if you're a little self-effacing around that, maybe it's a good time, just as a side note here, to actually do an inventory of all the things you have achieved. Because you might be surprised, there'll be people looking at you thinking, oh my God, they are so, what's the word? They're just so capable, that's the word. They are so capable at what they do. They're so, they've started these projects and they just get things going, and you might not feel like that about yourself. But actually, I think if you did an inventory and maybe speak to some people, like how do you, see my work and see me, you'd be really surprised. I think it's time to start owning the fact that you are a creator and you get things moving. You've got this Queen of Keys in your reading for a reason. Okay. And it's that, I think if you just build a bit more confidence in yourself, you've got I want to say businesswoman, you've got that down, whether you're male or female. I hope you can make sense of that. And now it's time to take that confidence into this time of apprenticeship. That yes, you can start again, you've got the business side sorted, you can skill up one step at a time. And that this deeper soul work is you really, 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 really can trust making every decision from your soul now, from your heart. What is the work that really lights you up? How are you going to look after yourself better? Can you trust that, for example, the actual hours you want to work in a week, not the hours you think you should work or that makes the numbers work, but the hours you want to work in a week, that is possible, and just stay focused on it. This is a real reading about manifesting, and if you can see that, clear out all the resistance around it. And that will be to do with every aspect of your business. I'm just picking out, number of hours, just as an example. That will also apply to, really go into what type of client do I want. And if you can't envisage that, then just start with how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel about my work? How do I want to feel? Sorry, I'm tripping over my words today. How do I want to feel whilst doing my work? How do I want to feel at the end of the week? All of these different aspects, and just let them flow into a really kind of feeling sense picture of how you want your work to now be. Because you've got the skills to upskill, if you see what I mean. You're so good at that. Just a little bit more confidence in now making that what is actually a big shift, even though it can feel very, very subtle because it is the soul level, to really honouring yourself in your work. It's just coming through. I'm getting goosebumps because it's kind of so joyous. Spirit just wants you to know that you've got everything you need and you really can trust to make it completely work for you. When I say about clearing out resistance, so for example, if you imagine how many hours you'd really love to work that feels really good to your body and your soul and your health and your well-being, but then it comes up as I couldn't possibly, for example, do that a few hours. How could I possibly make that work financially? Then go into those fears and whatever processes you've already got, or if you don't have any sort of resistance clearing practices, it might be worth investigating and finding some that resonate with you. It's very easy to search for them these days, and I know your intuition will lead you to the right ones for you. So, and it's as simple, they're all based on the same principle, that you bring that resistance into light. So, I don't know, I can't work so few hours because I can't possibly earn enough money per hour to live. And of course there's massive assumptions in there about what you need to spend to live, all these kind of beliefs from your upbringing and society, and you just clear them all out, just set the intention to lose resistance to them all, release the fears that you discover within them, and then just let it all go, and then you'll just feel it. You'll know when you've shifted it, because you'll be able to think, oh my God, I can literally create what I want, actually. All I need to do is keep releasing fears and keep tapping into my soul as to what I really want and the reasons behind it, the why. Why do I want to work for example, so few hours a week? Well, I want to do all these other things, for example, and fill up on the joy of doing all those other things as you imagine them. I'm sorry if this is getting cryptic. I feel like I'm wandering all over the place. This is just what wants to come through. And this is, I mean, I'm guessing nearly all my readers know exactly how to, know exactly how to manifest and clear out resistance. But just for those of you who don't, it's worth investigating, definitely. Spirit, let's wrap this up. I'm sorry if that last bit was super rambly. I hope you got the message. Alright, let's just pick one more card just to wrap this up for you guys. I've only done 3 cards for you. It's all just super positive. Anything to watch out for, Spirit, anything to watch out for with them. Just watch the confidence. Just watch out making decisions from fear. I really suggest doing that inventory of all your achievements and what you are actually good at, because I think you're better at creating and business and projects than you realise. And yeah, and just give yourself a break. This is going to be experimenting time, finding out that you really can make it work for you. I think you've got some real fun adventures in manifesting coming up. Okay, that's interesting. So I just got a clarifying card. Oh, this is really beautiful. Okay, we've got the Queen of Scrolls reversed, and we've got the Sands of Time reversed. I'm going to be super quick because we're really running over, but the Queen of Scrolls, normally reversed, is not such a great message. There's things to watch out for, but I think for you guys, actually, it simply means don't look to anybody else. You've got everything you need within you. I think this might even represent how you feel about yourself, just that slight lack of confidence again we were speaking to. So this card is just saying, you've got it all. You've got it all, honey. Male or female. You've got it all. You've got this super clear intellect, and it's just now using that to serve your soul. You really have got it all. Sands of Time reversed is really positive. It means you've got all the time in the world. You've got time for this. I don't think there needs to be any sense of rush with this. Any sense of rush is just fear. I think you're really set up for this process. I think you're in a good position. I don't think there's any desperate need sort of financially as such, but just keep clearing out the fear if you feel there is. And oh my goodness, group 3, I'm so excited for you. It's just beautiful changes. It's not going to be like a razzle-dazzle, massive, oh my God, dramatic thing. But you'll look back on this and just think, wow, this was a really important month for that shift. And oh my goodness, your soul journey, your soul business, your soul work is just going to be stunning. And I just see you in the most amazing daily kind of routines and really enjoying life. And one of those just really successful, what I think of as successful people, you've got the balance, you've got the wisdom, you've got the knowledge, you're going to seem, oh, there's the other message in this card that's beautiful, you're going to seem like one of those people who has all the time in the world, all the time, whilst having really successful work, successful relationships. It's just going to be absolutely stunning. Be patient with it. build that confidence. You've got it. You're on it. All right, Group 3, I so hope that was helpful and hope to see you in March. Hi, Group 4. This is your February reading. Let's get straight into it. I'm starting with 3 cards for you guys. We might have some clarifiers in a moment, but let's see what we've got. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Something I haven't even thought to mention with the other groups. We've got the astrological new year this month, which I personally find far more potent than sort of the calendar, the Western calendar new year. January, February time for me is very much kind of a death time, just before the rebirth of the astrological year, and then it really is finally springtime into late February. So that wanted to come through for you guys, so I'm wondering if you're really feeling that too. Okay, your first card, we've got the Muse reversed. So the Muse is just imagine the most divine, sparkling, incredible visions, incredible feelings, incredible inspiration that you can imagine. This is your personal muse, the thing that just lights you up like nothing else. Now, if you're not even sure what that might be, it's not so much about the specifics. This is a major arcana card. This is a major theme for you at the moment. So this is going to be going on for far longer than February. Just whatever just fills you up with joy. Okay. And it's basically, I always think of the muse, when I think of the artist and their muse, they are completely, utterly in love with their muse. Whether it's romantic love or not, they're just blown away. So imagine, often romance is a good way to get there, I find, to get to the idea of your own personal muse. Not that it's in another person, but that's a way to access it. So you meet someone who's just so inspiring, and you find them so intelligent and fascinating and beautiful and, quirky, if that's your thing, and just dynamic and vivid, and just being with them just lights you up completely. So even if that's not in your life, I think that's something we can all imagine, and that is the flavour of the muse. But it's the exalted version. So, there's none of that kind of what can be icky romantic attachment or codependency. There's none of that. It's so pure, and it's yours. It already belongs to you. Okay. There's the wonderful thing of realising that whenever you get those massive moments in life of being utterly in love with something, and it just feels so pure and so innocent, that is your own personal muse coming through and being reflected back to you, which is just heavenly and divine. So this is always a stunning card to have in a reading. She's actually come through for one other reading today as well, for February. So there's something about February where it's very much a card of renewal, of just being, every cell in your body being kind of vividly saturated with joy. I'm just so happy for you guys that this card is here. Now, she is in the reverse. Don't get hung up on gender with the muse. I guess for me personally, it's kind of actually fairly androgynous, but I think that cultural image we have of the muse is that it is the feminine. It's very, very beautiful. It's very rich. And certainly in the animal world, sometimes it's the male, which is particularly sort of beautified and lots of colour. So yeah, don't get hung up on gender. In the reverse, it's not bad at all. It simply means it's not coming through quite yet, but we'll get a bit more into that in a moment. Your next card is the Akashic Field. So wonderful pairing with the muse, because this is literally the field of potential. So, think of the universe as this just wide open expanse where we get to play, we get to just have these thoughts which become ideas, which become kind of thought forms, which become actual manifestations out in the world, and we're always creating. And same with our feelings, and there's not really any separation. So between thought and feeling, I mean. Not in this creation sense, you need the feelings there as well. So absolute, pure, wide open potential. It's the feeling of, this won't apply to everyone, but one example is, so if I see a blank sketch pad, and it's just beautiful white paper, and I'm just enthralled by that. I'm just like, oh, what is this going to be? It's a bit like looking at a newborn. Pick whichever animal you love, or if it's a human baby, you just think, oh, wow, it's just pure, innocent, gorgeous potential, and there's something just so, it just draws you in. You just want to be kind of immersed in this wide open feeling. In the tarot, it would be the Fool card would very much go with this, of, oh my goodness, which amazing landscape can I go and explore in now? That's what the Akashic field is talking about. At the same time as it being where everything is wide open and ready to explore, it's where everything is stored, because it's, let me describe this. If you imagine being an artist, you've got every single colour imaginable in front of you. It's all there ready. And that's how the Akashic field is. Every single colour, so that means, every single resource, every single possibility, every single colour, every feeling, every sound, and all of the ones we don't even know of yet as humans, they are all there, just sitting there, waiting for us to play with them. You've got these gorgeous rainbow colours in these swirls above the Akashic field, and you've got this sense of some kind of building through the mist, sort of drawing you in, and just, you just want to go and play in it. Gorgeous, gorgeous energy again. As I said, I will get to the very specific message for you guys. This is just laying the scene, really. And then, oh my goodness, I didn't realise this card was here, even though I've already turned it over. Wishes fulfilled. I'm getting goosebumps. Wow. This is a powerful month for you guys. This card does what it says on the tin. It's a beautiful image of this. It feels kind of tower-like. You've got 3 windows on 3 sides in this building, and it's kind of a kitchen, and it's like a storeroom. It's got absolutely everything. It's overflowing with fruit baskets and wine and homemade bread and keys, so important. So absolute abundance, complete abundance. So that ties in so beautifully. I'm rambling because I'm just excited. The energy of this is just phenomenal. Endless abundance and cheeriness, and it makes me think of like a really, really jolly kind of Father Christmas at a feast, or like a medieval banquet, or what am I trying to say? Like a kind of Christmas or like winter solstice festival, and everyone's gathered around a big feast, and there's a big roaring fire, and everyone's dressed up, and it's just sheer, joyful, playful abundance. So these 3 cards together are phenomenal. I just need to say that straight off. I've never had this combination before. I'm not even sure I've had this particular energy come through before in a reading. This is just stunning. So Spirit, what have we got for group 4 particularly? It's really interesting. We've got a number 15, and then we've got a 1 and a 5. February for group 4. Spirit, what is the particular unique message for these guys? What do they need to hear about all this? I'm just smiling. It's just wow. So group 4, you have got the muse. I want to say you've got the muse. Your own personal inner muse is being expressed outside of you, or is about to be expressed outside you. She is about to walk into your life and about to blow you away. It's going to be intensely, intensely beautiful. it's going to be a portal, a gateway to really tapping into the field of pure potential. Now, if you've been on the spiritual journey for a while, you'll know exactly what I mean by that. And so what I'm sensing is it's even bigger and clearer than ever before, just what your pure potential is. Okay. I sense you guys have been doing your manifesting because we have this wishes fulfilled card here. This is just stunning. I'm not even sure that there's any, things to watch out for or anything at the moment. This is just really small cards on this. Muse, what have you got for group 4 today? I'm just seeing you guys surrounded in creativity, in abundance, I think I'm sensing a real massive sigh of relief. Something has really, really paid off. I think you've had a journey of, I want to say homecoming. This feels like a homecoming. I feel this feast at the end as a real homecoming. And I'm wondering if these cards are talking about a much bigger, longer journey than just this 1 month we're talking about. I wonder if you've been waiting for this muse, this idea, this journey, this creativity to launch, take off, and you've been tending to it really, really, I just see really delicately, all these petals, they're almost like in your hands. This is how your project has been. I say project, I mean whatever it is that's been so inspiring to you, you've been really, really, really mothering it, whether male or female, you've been mothering it and nurturing it along so, so beautifully. I want to say, this is very cryptic, but I want to say whatever it is, you've been birthing it into the field of pure potential. I wonder if this is, even to the extent of you've birthed a child or you've been parenting a child in some way, you've been parenting a project, and then gifting it to the field of pure potential. I'm not even sure what that means yet, but I'm guessing it's resonating with you guys. There's something about you've had to hand it over, whatever this baby of yours has been in work life or relationship, to almost to spirit, to the field of potential, to, you've really surrendered it to what it could then become. And you've been so gorgeously wide open with it. You've flowed with it. You've allowed it to be what it wants to be. You've given it so much space and so much room. But also, held a safe space for it. So this could literally be a child, or it could be the creative project, or it could be a business, or it could be a relationship. You've handed it over so beautifully. There's been a real egolessness to this. And it's just beautiful. I'm definitely getting sort of divine parenting coming through, and this is what you've been doing. And it's felt deeply rich. I sense this has been a very, not secretive, that's the wrong word, but you've been really doing this sort of in the background. No one's been really aware of what you've been doing, but I think on a very subtle level you have been super aware of parenting whatever this is, and you know how infinitely deep and powerful this is. And I think you've felt guided by spirit every step of the way, with just how much surrender has been involved, and with how important it's been to surrender it, and just how huge it's going to be as soon as you've sort of let it go into this pure potential and what it wants to be. And it's just amazing. I think there's something around being acknowledged here in this reading feels very powerful. I think Spirit has wanted to acknowledge you in the outer world by bringing this through, this message. I hope that makes sense. I think you've had to do so much of this on your own, very, very quietly. I'm not sure there are many people around you with the awareness to understand what you've been doing. You are tapping into real spiritual mastery with what you've been doing. And yeah, I'm just getting the message that Spirit would like to just say, obviously you're very tapped in anyway, but Spirit just wanted to come in through a third party, through this reading, just as an extra little nudge, just to say, we see you, we love you, you're doing incredible work. And it's just beautiful. I'm almost feeling teary with this because I think it's felt deeply, deeply special to you. It's certainly got the flavour of it, just very, very, very special. It's not been easy, but I think you've been so surrendered all the way through. It's just felt, it has just felt like a divine blessing to you to be able to do this work. So that is just stunning. And wishes fulfilled. Again, Spirit would just like to say, everything that you have envisioned, all the visions that have been gifted to you, they are real and they are all coming through. I think this is in the future, but you've very much got a sense of it now. But it is coming. And I think one of the messages is, you already have a phenomenal amount of trust. I don't normally talk on this level in my readings, but for you guys this is particularly deep and subtle, and for those of you that it's meant for, it would certainly resonate. No matter how far we go in our sort of spiritual journey, we can still, have self-doubt. We're only human. So this is just reminding you that I think you've already let go. As I said, the amount of surrender you've had has been huge. You've already let this baby of yours, whatever that applies to, you've already let it go, and you're already seeing it, grow in the way it wants to. And I get the sense that you're just standing back like the really proud, amazed, baffled parent of just, oh my goodness, this is so beautiful. I'm so glad I had the courage to nurture this in the way it needed to be nurtured. And I think it's blowing your mind, actually, with how beautiful it's becoming already. And I think you're aware that it's just going to get more and more and more beautiful. Just more beautiful. So just a little nudge of encouragement from Spirit that you can absolutely trust this. You've done a great job. You really, really have done a great job. And it's taken care of. You've done such a good job. Yes, you'll be continuing this work of being this incredibly loving parent, but it's all in motion. It's all set now. There's no going back. You can't put the baby back in the womb, so to speak. It's all in motion, and whilst that might seem scary sometimes, it also means that you have set up the path for its growth so beautifully, that it's taken care of. It's all in the hands of Spirit and your higher self, and it's just stunning. And all those wishes are coming to you. They are absolutely coming to you. Right, group 4, I'm just going to get maybe just one more card. Spirit, is there anything else that I can say just to encourage? Oh wow. Just to encourage group 4. Spirit wants to tell me, to tell you through me, that they see the level of surrender and they see the level of pain at times that this has taken. They've seen the level of maturity it's taken to have boundaries around all this and keep it to yourself. And we have 2 more cards here just to clarify. We have the King of Roses, which is the most stunning card of love. I'm seeing the King of Roses is what you've birthed. Okay, the King of Roses is what you have birthed. Take that however you're taking it and run with it and trust it. I am seeing Christ energy, or feeling Christ energy, I should say. Incredible amounts of love coming through to the earth through what you have been up to in a good way. I want to say promised child. I want to say promised energies, and they're all coming through because of the work you've been doing. Intricacies and industries is the other card that came. It's been an intricate process, it's been industrious, it's been patient, it's been one brick at a time. And building the temple. It's another phrase that strongly wants to come through, building the temple. So I think those phrases mean a lot to you. I'm not going to elaborate on them because I think it's very personal to you what they particularly mean. And that'll be slightly different for all of you. So I'm not going to overlay anything else. But just, you've been building the temple, promised child, whether it's literally a child or otherwise, you'll know what the child is. And just stunning, group 4. Keep going. Messages, just keep going. You've got it. You understand how to do this. Even though it's constantly changing, subtly, and new flavours coming up, you know how to do this, and keep holding that beautiful space for what this is. Really cryptic message, but I know who it's meant for will completely get it. Massive encouragement from Spirit. Just keep going. Just keep going. Keep your humility, but I think you've got that. You've got that down. Right, group 4, thank you so much for sharing your energy with me. That was absolutely divine. A real blessing for me to feel such preciousness and such hope. Just hope that such hope and wonderfulness coming through people like you. Alright, all my love, and hopefully see you in March.